This was supposed to be the 5 o'clock game. It's 6 o'clock, so we're running about an hour behind. This is a winner's bracket semifinal. We're going to be over here on third base side for this one because of where the sun is at. If I was over at first, wreaks havoc with the camera. So we're going to be over at Hot Stuff. Already seen Hot Stuff a little bit earlier. Fat Kids won the toss. They'll be home. And first time we're looking at the Fat Kids, but they've been playing very well today. They played TTF a little earlier when we were showing you the Hot Stuff game, and that was a pretty good ball game. It came down to the wire down here, and Fat Kids pulled it out. So this should be pretty good. The winner here is in the championship, and we'll have to get beat twice as we are playing double elimination. The loser here will have to play in the get-back game. And I want to say TTF is still in it. They're playing on the other diamond. So whoever wins down there is going to come down here. So it's going to be Cliff, Katie, and Ant. So some familiar names here from earlier in the day. And here's the first pitch of the ball game. And Cliff looked like he wanted to slap it this way. And hold on, folks. I gotta put this hood up as we've been getting a little bit of wind. So bear with me. So here's Cliff. He swings a little infield pop-up, and coming in is the shortstop for the Fat Kids making the play there. It's a nice play there by Macho. He made the catch. Okay, so that'll bring up Katie now with one out here. And she swings and she slashes it fair just inside the line. So Katie, a one-out single. She hits a line drive over the third baseman's head. That ball was fair by about 1.5 feet. So here's Anthony Stacy now. It's Hot Stuff looking to try to get a lead. Now this feels a little bit different. And Anthony goes hard down that line, and that's going to be foul as I tried to shade the camera a little bit. So not quite as windy as it was when I was showing the 3 o'clock game, which was really more around 4. But what wind we do have is blowing out, and the ball has been carrying a little bit better on this diamond. It seems like there's been more runs scored down here than the other park. And that's not unusual for this park. One of these diamonds usually gets rung like a cash register, and the other one usually plays a little tighter. So Stacy, a little ground ball, and it gets past the second baseman, and she's going to get back. A little high throw there at second, or they might have had an opportunity. So little ground ball just snuck it past Amanda at second. And the Fat Kids got a pretty nice co-ed team. They kind of burst onto the scene late last year in the co-ed 14-inch mush. So here's PJ, and she hits a little pop-up, and Stacy had to run around the first baseman. So 2 outs here, brings up Epi. And you may...
Katie, go! Katie, go! Hey, we go! Let's go! Make it hurt!
So we're back, folks. Sorry about it. I don't know what happened there. We lost the connection. And we are back, though. So here's Nicole. Meanwhile, Hot Stuff has scored a run, and they have taken the lead here. And here comes Nicole.
I love you too, baby. Wherever.
So got a little distracted here with the Wi-Fi going out. Not sure. And there's a swing and a flip in front of Luke Lowry. And Anthony Stacy will score. Second run in. And it brings up Brandon.
Brandon. We got Brandon, Kelly.
Hey, 2 outs here, 2 dead.
So 2 outs here, 2 on, 2 runs in.
Big folk.
And Brandon swings, hits a little fly ball, Lowry under it, and puts it away. So a little bit of damage there. Hot Stuff jumps up early, 2-0. We head to the bottom of the first. So the Fat Kids will have Scotty, Amanda, and Macho coming up here. Again, the winner of this game will go to the championship. Loser will have to play in the get-back game. And whoever comes back is going to have to win twice. So, leading off here, Scotty Gates. Scotty's starting to play more. We first really kind of saw him last year, late in the season. Very athletic, very fast player. Covers a lot of ground in the outfield, and we've seen him in the dome as well. And he covers a lot of ground to the point where Brandon Molina was actually shifting over and playing left field. Brandon over there coaching first base. So here's Scott Gates, and he hits a hard ground ball fair down the line. Told you Gates can fly and very easily stand up double. So he whistles one fair down that left field line, and Fat Kid's coming right out of the gate here. And here's Amanda. And she swings and she floats it over to shortstop. Cliff comes running in with it. So Amanda goes opposite field. Runners on the corner now. And that's going to bring up Macho. So Fat Kid's set up here. Trailing by 2. You can see the long shadows. And realistically, if you're a pitcher, and Macho hammers it into right. 1 run is in. Here comes Amanda churning for third. And they're going to hold her up. So first and third. So Macho basically just flipped the position here. Fat Kid's on the board. And it brings up Juliana. And the Fat Kids have been scoring a decent amount of runs today. And they walk Juliana, and that'll load them up for Chuck Regaldo. Not quite sure where that throw was going. It went rolling right past us. So bases loaded. Nobody out here. And there's a swing and a base hit for Chuck. 1 run is in. 2 is in. Juliana's going to make it to third. Chuck Regaldo drills a 2-run single. Nobody out here now. 3 runs in. And that's going to bring up Lexi. So the 2-0 lead has been erased in short order here. So we're in the bottom of the first.
Here you go, PJ.
And Lexi swung through that. And we got Alberto, also known as Chulo, on deck. Alberto Magana. And there's a little push shot. Nicole I'm not sure if she stepped on the bag or not. I couldn't see. And apparently she did. She does move Chuck into second base now, second and third now for Chulo. And Chuck, of course, plays center field for the 45s over at second. So we know Chuck can run. And they're playing Chulo pretty deep. He's going to score on a single, and that's off the end of the bat. A little weird spin, and Anthony elected to throw the ball home instead of take the out, and that's going to load the bases again. Juliana kind of jockeyed down the line, but she had an eye on Stacy, and she just came back to the base on the throw to the plate, and that's going to bring up Isabel. And now they're really squeezing Isabel as the outfielders are all just up right, just barely on the grass. And she hits a line drive, and that's going to be a double play. And that's going to end the inning there. So a little bad luck there. Pitcher snagged the line drive. So we head now to the second inning. Fat Kids erased that 2-0 lead. And they took a 3-2 lead, but man, it could have been a lot worse. So here we go. It's going to be Melly, Greg, and Kelly. So Melly, Greg, Kelly. Bottom third of the lineup here. And there's a high fly ball. Scott Gates there. So Scott in left field today with Chuck out in center and Luke Lowry. So this is a very, very fast outfield for the Fat Kids here. So here comes Greg now. And Greg a little slow roller, and Chulo cut in front of Macho. And Greg took the turn, but he goes back and now gets away, and he's going to try it. The shovel safe. And Chuck trying to bait him into going by kicking the ball, but so again, Chulo got out there. Macho was all set up to make the catch. Ball went through Chulo's hands, and he ends up at second. So one out runner for Kelly. And that's a pretty good example. Macho, pretty good shortstop, got a good release and strong arm there. It was an easier play because he was set up, and she hits a fly ball. Gates is there, and he'll throw it in. So they may need to get some of these kids out of short left field here, because on this diamond, the ball's going to get hit out there. Top of the lineup, here's Cliff. 2 outs now, runner on second. So Cliff trying to is going to try here to tie the game up. That's a little can of corn to Chuck, and that'll be the third out. So if they get a 1-out break, they can't do anything with it. And we're going to head now to the bottom of the second. Luke, Ilana, and Scotty coming up here for the Fat Kids. So we'd like to thank all of you who have been tuning in all day. Started with our first game around 11 o'clock this morning. Did an hour-long interview with Jerry Brown at around 1 o'clock today. And showed you what was scheduled to be the 3 o'clock game. And here we are now with the 5 o'clock winter bracket championship game. So it's been a long day. We appreciate you tuning in. Feel free to like our page and follow us. We do have a lot of men's 16-inch softball during the summer. Some of the best 16-inch players in the country right here in Chicago.
I'm in the game.
So there's a swing by Lowry. Cliff right on it. Makes a little belly catch for out number one. So here's Eliana, Aliana, Eliana, the first baseman. And there's strike two. Again, you cannot hit a foul ball with two strikes. And that ball is going to be fouled, so that'll go as a strikeout, and we're back to the top with Scott Gates. So for those of you looking and wondering what kind of softball this is, it's kind of a hybrid version of Chicago 16-inch style softball. We use a 16-inch clincher. And there's Gates, and he drills one into left field for a two-out hit. Now Brandon bobbles it, and you can forget about Scott Gates. He's easily into second. So, as I was saying, it's a little bit of a hybrid. 90% of what we do out here when it's just men playing is no glove. And that is a 16-inch clincher. It's not a mush ball. 60-foot bases, 38 from the rubber to the point of home. Here's Amanda, little sweep and run, little bobble by Greg, everybody's safe. So I don't know if Scott Gates cutting in front of him affected that at all. Brings up Macho now with runners on the corner. Second time Amanda's been on today. And we do use heavier bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, 34 inches long, 2 1/4 on the barrel, 612 on the arc. Can lead off, you can't steal. And now they walk the guy, and that is going to force Scott Gates in, and the female player gets to also walk. So that can be devastating. Bases loaded, and it brings up Chuck Regaldo. It's now 4-2 Fat Kids. And Chuck goes a hammering. Cliff on his horse gets there. So they give up a run because of the walk. And we're going to head now to the third inning, 4-2 Fat Kids. So I'd also like to thank a few of our sponsors, most notably Sweet Buzz. If you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out. And if you're here in the Chicago area and you see Nick Drabel, who plays with Moneyline, Nicky, one of the founders of that company, brand new company, just launched a year ago. I'm sure Nick would be more than happy to talk about it with you at any softball games, tournaments, etc. Of course, he plays for the Moneyline squad. Here's Katie. She hits a ground ball, foul ball. So, foul ball there. And if anybody's watching on Restream, please feel free to drop me a chat message. I always want to make sure it's working, especially since we lost the connection there. So there's Katie, and Chulo will make the catch. Of course, she had 2 strikes, and catch or no catch if that ball would have landed foul. So here's Stacy, and he tries to cut, and that ball is foul. So Anthony didn't quite let the ball come down there. Here's Stacy, little ground ball right to Macho. He makes the play. So, like we said, Macho, pretty good shortstop. Just very calm over there. And there's a swing.
Hey, dude, let me know if you want me to punch in the throat.
So PJ in the box here. And there's a little ground ball over to Amanda. And she'll handle that easily. So we're going to head to the bottom of the third. Fat Kids lead here. And it's going to be Lexi, Chulo, and Isabel. So we'd not only like to thank Sweet Buzz, but a couple of our other premier partners. Let Us Entertain You, Rich Melman. They've been with us for the past 15 years. Tito's Handmade Vodka. Please drink responsibly. And, of course, Ray Zarnick with Chrysler Dodge Jeep. And Ray been with us a long time as well, and him and his family are the sponsors of the Tom Egzarnik Class A No Glove National Championship Tournament put on by the SSA. And there's a swing and a one-hopper over to Stacy. So Lexi out for number one here. And that's going to bring up Chulo.
I'm not sure.
Chulo takes strike two. Again, sun's starting to set here, and it's going to start getting a little chilly out here. So Chulo with a one-out hit here brings up Isabel. Isabel's last time up hit a soft line drive that the pitcher snagged for a double play, and she hits another line drive and another double play. So she has just hit into some bad luck. Isabel has hit two line drives that have been caught and turned into double plays her last two at-bats. So that's the kind of stuff that'll keep you up at night. So just no love, as they say. So we're going to head now to the top of the fourth. So here's Jose Godinez, top of the fourth. And there's a hard ground ball. Chulo, rough hop, can't make the play. Amanda right where she should be, back in the play up. No chance for him to turn and try to go to second on it. Brings up Nicole. So leadoff hitter on. And they're going to go ahead and courtesy run. And there's a hard ground ball. Juliana looked at second, couldn't get her, but they get the out at first. So Juliana was thinking of trying to go to short way. Good hustle by Cliff, courtesy running. And then Juliana made a strong throw at first to get the runner. So that's going to bring up Brandon, runner on third now. And Brandon sweeps it toward the alley, and he beats Chuck. And that ball's bouncing on that short grass. One run is in. Brandon going to end up right here at third base. So Brandon makes it a 4-3 game. Brandon, what time is it, man? Demon time, baby. Of course, Brandon was on the Demons when they won the Class A no glove run by the SSA. And here's the next hitter, and Melly grounds out to Amanda, but we're all tied at 4. So brand new ball game. We got a little symmetry going on. 4-4 in the fourth. It's going to bring up Greg. Again, the winner of this game is going to be in the championship, and they will have to be beaten twice. And Greg right up the shaft, and Chuck Regaldo makes the play. So we head to the bottom of the fourth, halfway through. Nothing's been decided. All tied. So the Fat Kids will have Luke, Eliana, and Scotty coming up. So they'll have 9, 10, and 1 coming up here. So it is starting to get a little chillier. It's been bright sunshine all day. It's starting to cloud over. And even though the sun is still relatively high, we're in kind of a little bit of a haze here. The lights have turned on. So here's Luke Lowry. And Luke hits a line drive into left field. And Luke is a young player that the Fat Kids are bringing along. Very athletic kid, really can run. And he just seems like he's getting better every time I see him. So here's the first baseman, Aliana. And she hits a little pop, and it gets over to third baseman. Greg couldn't get there. Everybody's safe. So Katie tried to get up. It was just over the top of her mitt. Greg was trying to round around. He couldn't get there. First 2 hitters on here for Gates. So I may have to go put a jacket on after this game. It's starting to get a little chilly. And Gates swings. He tries to go big. Brandon has a bead, makes the catch. Lowry going to make it in. So you can call that a productive out in the sense that he moved both runners. 1 out now for Amanda. She's reached twice with Macho on deck. And Amanda just sweeps a ground ball. Stacy had a little trouble, but he finally got rid of it. He was looking home, but Luke was being very aggressive on his secondary lead there. And that's a good job of having good back control by Amanda. She just swept the ground ball to the right side. So 2 out now brings up Macho Soto. Fat Kids have reclaimed the lead here. And Macho beats it into the ground. Greg makes it not very close. Macho running hard down the line, made a little closer. than you might have thought originally. But in the inning, Fat Kids do scrape. They do take the lead once again, and we head to the fifth, 5-4. So it's going to be Kelly and then the top, Cliff and Katie. So this has been a pretty good event. Hats off to Richie Orrico. Had a long talk with Rich this week, and Richie was saying he wanted to make this a regular staple, this 16-inch co-ed, and he's hoping to get more teams next year. And there's a little ground ball. Soto pitch and catch for the first out. And we're in this weird kind of twilight with the clouds and everything where the lights are on. They haven't taken full effect yet. So here's Cliff. So change the contrast a little bit and try to get a little lighter picture. And ground ball there. Juliana had a little trouble with it. It popped out of her mitt. So Cliff is on, one out now, runner on. Here's Katie with Anthony Stacy on deck. Katie, a little ground ball fair, picked up by Chulo. Cliff will make it around to third, but there are 2 outs now.
Scotty, what's the top?
And a lot of times, we talked about this in an earlier game. Some of you at home might be like, well, if you have a female hitting behind a guy because they have to alternate, and Stacy drills it down the line, we're all tied. Anthony's going to stop at first. And a lot of people would say, well, and again, we got that symmetry working, 5-5 in the fifth. But a lot of people would be, why wouldn't you have walked them to get to the female? Well, Anthony would have been awarded second, because when you walk a guy, that's the penalty. And then the female would have got the option, and if she takes a walk, that would have loaded him up, and it would have brought up Jose Godinez, who is an absolute menace with a bat in his hand. So you really wouldn't have wanted him coming up with the bases loaded. So here we are. And there's a little soft fly ball, but Chuck will make the catch to end the top of the fifth. So PJ flies out. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth, all tied. Oh, shoot. This is going to be ugly, me trying to pick this pen up. Huh? Yeah, I do need help. My back is locking up here. I've been on my feet all day. All right, thank you. That's why we love our fans. I dropped my pen, and I got this monopod and everything else. Was having a little trouble. No, I'm good. Thank you. So now they're offering me chairs. So here's Juliana leading off, and she hits a little ground ball to third. And nice job there by Nicole, digging it out and helping her third baseman out as she makes the play. So here comes Chuck Regaldo. And Chuck tries to go big. Brandon right on it, puts it away. for out number 2. So here we go. So that's going to bring up Lexi, 2 outs, nobody on. And we're starting to get deep into this ball game. And Lexi slashes one, but Nicole right there on the spot. So both teams playing pretty solid defensively. And we're going to head to the 6th, still tied at 5. Again, this type of game, you like to have the hammer, and the Fat Kids do have it. So even though we're tied, the hammer does mean a lot. So it's going to be Godinez, Nicole, and Brandon here in the top of the 6th. So we had a flurry of runs early. Game has slowed down a little bit. And a lot of times the slowing down of the offense is directly related to the temperature. And like I said, it's starting to get a little on the chilly side. So by the time we get to the championship, it's going to be tough conditions. So Scotty makes the play and right for out number 1, and it brings up Nicole. And that pitched a little deep. So a lot of times when you get to this point in the game, it's and there's a little chopper over to Juliana, and she'll make the play for out number 2. So here's Brandon. So a lot of times when we get to this point in the game, the pressure starts to build a little defensively. And you'd be surprised at how many players just don't want the ball hit to them. So here's Brandon. And Brandon, trying to come this way, fouls that into the Fat Kid dugout. Two strikes. So if anybody's watching, please put up a message. I haven't seen one comment, which is a little unusual. And there's a slash base hit. Lowry will get on that and throw it in. Okay, thank you, Carly. I was beginning to think I was just talking to hear myself talk. So there's a ground out. And we're going to head to the bottom of the 6th. So Melly grounds out to end the inning. And here come the Fat Kids. I think you'd like to score a run, maybe 2. Get 3 outs and then go get warm. So it's going to be Chulo, Isabel, and Luke. And if I'm the Fat Kids and I get a base runner, Isabel's hit 2 line drives that turned into double plays. I'd be all over whoever's hitting in front of Chulo. A little off the end of the bat, and it's going to drop. So Chulo a little quick there. It sounded like he hit it right off the end of the bat, and he cue balled it into center. And Isabel's been hitting into some tough luck in this game. And they're really squeezing her. So this is a tough assignment for a base runner. And there, this time she hits it on the ground, and Greg will go to one, and they twist a double play. So Greg did the spin. They went right around the infield. And Isabel had 3 at-bats and hit into 3 double plays. Not her fault. She's hit the ball well, but she'll be catching a little grief, I'm sure, later on when the Fat Kids are hanging out in a good way. So here comes Luke. And Luke can really fly. He had a triple in that TTF game. And he really was. If he hits a gap, I'll try to turn the camera back on him, and you can try to get a feel for how quick he is. And there's a little flare, and that ball is foul. So that'll go as a strikeout, as he had 2 strikes. And we're going to go to the 7th. Anybody's game, all tied at 5. So somebody's going to be a hero. As we've played 6 innings and nothing's been decided. I got a feeling that might be Enemy on the other diamond. Can't tell if that's TTF or who they're playing down there. Do you know who's playing on Diamond 2, Carly, if you're still watching? So here we got a pinch hitter, Eddie Gil Ramos. And there's a cut foul. He's hitting for Greg, the shortstop. Kelly on deck.
Let's go right here, Lex. Hey, 2 strikes. 2 strikes.
TTF and someone. I love it. So here's Eddie on the reset, and tie fly ball. Gates is there, puts it away. Well, I see Chris Harris. I think that's Chris Harris with the lime green on, so I would assume that's Enemy. And it looks like that might be Corn. I'm not sure, so I'm going to guess that that's Enemy playing TTF. So here's Kelly, top of the lineup, and Cliff, a wait. Meanwhile, in this Winter Bracket Championship, 5-5.
Hey, gotta come.
So it looks like Kelly's trying to draw the walk, and she swings, and Gates makes the catch. It looked like it was a good pitch, like it was a strike. But sometimes when you're 3-1, a lot of hitters will just take that and try to draw a walk there. But she hit it good, but right at the outfielder. So here's Cliff now, 2 outs. And if you're Cliff right now, you got to be thinking double out of the box. Try to get yourself in scoring position if you can. And there he drives one to right field, but Lowry goes back and makes the catch. So we head to the bottom of the seventh. If you're the fat kids, any kind of run wins the ball game. And they'll have Aliana, Scotty, and Amanda coming up. So bottom of the seventh here, winner goes to the goes to the championship game where they'll have to get beat twice. The loser will have to play TTF and what I believe is enemy down there. So this is a big start here. And she hits a little ground ball. PJ cuts it off, and that's out number one. So here's Scotty Gates. And Scott very quick. He's been turning and burning. I'm going to creep off of this line a little bit. And again, if you're Scotty, you want to think double out of the box. Takes that low, and of course, if you're PJ, you can't afford to walk him because he'd be on second. And there's a high fly ball. Brandon is right there, and he puts it away. Brings up Amanda with Macho Soto on deck. So we are 1 out away from extra innings. And I believe they're using that California rule, which means the last out of the previous inning. And that's a little thing, and they just nip her. So we are going to have free softball as we're going to go extra innings, and I believe it's the California rule. So the last out, last inning is going to go to second base, and it's going to be a 3-2 count. So full count. Cliff, who made the last out, goes to second. Here comes Katie. And now what you got to do here, and sometimes with this California rule, it can become a kind of an endless loop. But ideally, what you want Katie to do is push that ball to the right side and get Cliff over here to third, and then have Anthony Stacy make sure he puts you ahead and put the pressure on the fat kids to have to at least score a run in the bottom of the eighth. And she pulls the ball, line drive. And again, it's okay to maybe pull the ball because Cliff is pretty fast if at least you hit it on the ground, so you force the infield to throw it across. So here's Stacy now. And, of course, execution is always important. And then it goes off the glove. Juliana's going to make the play, but Cliff never stopped running, and he scores from first. So that was an example where the ball was hit hard up the middle. It was off of the pitcher's glove. Juliana made a nice play to get to it and get it out, and Cliff just took off and never stopped. And now there's a swing, and he gets it. She gets it over Macho, and Scott Gates throwing to first can't get PJ, and she's hobbling over there a little bit. So they'll courtesy run for her with Kelly. Looked like she came down hard when she was running. So 6-5 hot stuff. So I think they're putting in an actual pinch runner instead of a courtesy runner. Brings up Godinez.
Hey, put it right in there. They go defense, 2 outs here, 2 dead. Full count. Full count. Be aggressive. Scott.
in notes trying to move the outfield back. They apparently think that Godinez is going to be in full drive mode here. And they got a hit and run, and there's a long fly ball, and Gates makes the catch. So they hit and ran. Godinez couldn't humpback it. They had moved Gates way back, and he made the play easily. So Fat Kids need a run to keep the game going. 2 and they win. Anything less, and Hot Stuff is heading to the championship. So Macho Soto going to lead off, Juliana on deck, and then Chucky. So this is a good spot in the lineup for the Fat Kids. And Macho Soto, crisp line drive. Runner on second. Amanda's going to take the turn, but stop. Runner's out in the corner now, and it brings up Juliana. And, of course, you do have Chuck Regaldo coming up. I think right now the Fat Kid's only real concern is you don't want any type of line drive double play.
Don't worry about her. I'll be here. Play for the double play.
And Juliana hits it over the top. Throw to second. Tied up. The game is tied up. Juliana hit it over the infield. Soto was hustling. Bang, bang at second. Sorry I didn't get to the replay in time. Here's Chuck. That was very close at second base. Those of you at home can rewind it. And Chuck delivers a hit. Juliana, now she's going to come to third. Here's the throw. And it gets away. Second and third. 1 out. So Chuck comes through, and it's Lexi. And now you got to. Here's the problem that you have here. You can think about walking Lexi if you wanted to load the bases, but then with 1 out, you got a guy up, and all you need is a little fly ball. And if you get the girl out, you can't walk the guy because he goes to second and the game is over. So timeout here. And the fans are telling Juliana that they can't believe that she slid. But I got to tell you, if Soto would have slid at second, he might have been safe and the game might have been over already. So big spot in the ball game here. And Lexi just beats it into the ground. The play at the plate, not in time, and the Fat Kids walk off. Hot Stuff in the bottom of the seventh, 7-6. They will play for the title. Hot Stuff is going to have to go play the winner of TTF. An enemy, at least I think it's enemy. And that's a perfect example. Good job there. Just beat the ball into the ground to the right side. The first baseman made it close. But they maybe should have had the infield pulled in just a hair tighter. So Fat Kids come back, 2 in the bottom of the seventh. They'll play for the title. We're going to click off here, and we'll see you in about an hour or so.